Joy News Prime.
Welcome to Joy News Prime, still Ghana's most comprehensive 2 hours of television news in Ghana. Coming up, rainstorm at Saginarugu in the northern region leaves residents in 16 communities displaced. We'll find out what's being done for them. Births and Deaths Registry documents 6,000 births in 1 month under new automated registration process, which makes certificates available to newborns in less than 3 minutes. In politics, President Mahama has started the Central Region leg of his Accounting to the People tour. There's a caution for the New Patriotic Party. And a chicken tie at lunchtime for pupils should the PNC candidate, Dr. Edward Mahama, be elected in the November election.
And coming up in business, crude oil production resumes on the Jubilee field as Tullow Oil denies intention of replacing FPSO Kwame Nkrumah.
Also in the bulletin, ferries deployed at farm plains recently on the orders of the president break down, severely disrupting transportation across the Volta Lake in the area. We also have the very latest on the brouhaha regarding the Ashanti region chairman of the New Patriotic Party. He has been released from detention, granted bail, and he's been speaking. We'll bring you all that in this bulletin. We also have sports, entertainment, international news, and Joy News Interactive. My name is Israel Ayim, and the bulletin is available across Europe on ABN television. Stay tuned. The Births and Deaths Registry has begun automated registration for newborns in 300 communities and health facilities across the country. The system, which seeks to eliminate the manual process of registering new births, has successfully registered over 6,000 children since its first pilot in March 2015. Newborns under the automated regime can get access to their temporary birth certificates in no more than 3 minutes.
In Ghana, more than 4 in 10 children are not registered at birth, and even if they are registered, many are still without a birth certificate. About 15% of children registered below age 5 do not have birth certificates to prove their identity. Delays in going through the registration process, shortage or lack of registration forms at some centers, and some hard-to-reach areas account for reasons why a number of people are without a birth certificate. Currently, it takes about 6 months for one to go through the entire registration process to acquire the certificate. The automated process, however, makes it possible for a certificate to be issued in less than 3 minutes. Chris Munga, an IT consultant for the project, says the automated process is enhanced through the internet and SMS.
The way we've addressed that is by providing an offline mode of working. So once you are authenticated from the server in Accra, from the day the phone was given to you, you don't need the internet to collect data. So in the remote village, you can collect data where there's no internet. And then you can drive to where there's signal and send the data to Accra. So that's how we've done it, by providing an offline system. The entire birth and death has been moved and changed into a virtual birth and death. So every stakeholder, internal stakeholder involved in the registration of a birth will have a workflow database onto their screen where they can approve or verify records for certificate printing. Within 48 hours or 24 hours, you can get a final certificate if you request for it.
TIGO and UNICEF Ghana are partnering government to ensure registration of new births increase by 70%.
Our role in this initiative is really exciting. We are delivering both devices and connectivity. This significant investment in our children, who are the future of Ghana, is a critical component of our commitment to using mobile phones to transform lives. Through our Digital Changemaker program, we are putting in a lot of investments to ensure the well-being of children.
UNICEF also believes this will help in their planning for pro-child policies.
Any country needs statistics and need data. Any country needs to
know how many children have been born in any particular year, so that schools can be planned, infrastructure can be planned, budget allocations can be made according to the population and according to the needs of the children. If we don't know this, if we don't have this basic information around how many children are being born, at what location, at what time, and under what circumstances, we are not able to plan, the government is not able to plan, and we as UNICEF, we are not able to put our resources to best use.
The ICT and mobile phone technology for birth registration is being operated from 91 districts in 8 regions in the country.
Meanwhile, Registrar for the Birth and Deaths Department, John Agbeko, explains why the automated process is only limited to newborns.
This system is not for the late registration. We are targeting the fresh births. So, like you saw in the video, it's just after you have given your detail, that information about the child is fed into the system. Once we have connectivity and it is gone into the database, the next minute, if you are close to a printing point, we can print a certificate for you. You understand? Yes.
What is the age limit for this birth?
This is a good opportunity to put this across again. You know, we're saying that fresh birth registration covers from the first day of the child to the child's first anniversary. That is 1 year. When you do it within this period, it is free. And that is what this program is targeting.
When are we expecting to roll it out to make it bigger for others to also be enrolled in? Because we have more people who still do not have birth certificates.
Yes, these resources. You need to get the tablet, you need to get the desktop, and most especially, you need to get internet connectivity. And these facilities, to put them together, is a bit huge in terms of resources. So we are still working it out. Government has come in and we're looking at the prospect. I believe once we get the resources put together, we would expand on.
How long did you say it takes for one to get the certificate with this new system?
How long it takes? For the infant birth registration, still at the point where you are doing the registration, even though the information is gathered and sent via internet, you can still have the infant birth set instantly there.
Members of the Sanerugu District Disaster Management Committee in the Northern Region have been meeting to respond to the plight of hundreds of residents in the area who have been displaced following a torrential rainstorm there. 16 communities in the district were affected in the Tuesday storm, which left scores of residents injured. The communities affected include Sanerugu, Kukuo, Larini, Balsi, Bawumo, Narun, and Dimale. When Joy News visited the area Wednesday afternoon, many of the displaced persons were still struggling to seek temporary accommodation. Roofs of most houses were ripped off, with some of them completely destroyed. Personal belongings, including clothing and electrical appliances like refrigerators and television sets, are amongst the items destroyed. District Chief Executive for Sanerugu, Alhassan Mohammed Surugudo, spoke to Joy News earlier.
Has a disaster management committee, of which the DC is the chair. We have just come back from the field, and you can see my coordinating director sitting with me. We are discussing about calling on other members of the committee, I mean the disaster management committee of the district, say that we'll sit down and then upon what we have done in the field, that we have done our assessment, we'll do an evaluation of what actually the situation is. Then we assess ourselves what we are capable of doing at our level for now and what we are not capable that we need to appeal for external support. That is what actually we'll be doing for now. First and foremost, calling on members to come and then we brief them and then they appreciate what actually the issue is as a result of what happened yesterday regarding the rainstorm that are hit the district. Our elders have it that prevention is always better than cure. sometimes we should not sit down for this kind of situation to befall us when we are throwing our hand in despair. I'm saying that it's an opportunity, though it is a disaster. We deem it as an opportunity for us to, assess what actually is wrong with us as a society, as a people, and as a community. You can see that we have a very few trees in our communities. And definitely, when a heavy storm comes our way, it will affect us severely. We are using the opportunity to appeal to our community members that we should do well to plant trees around our homes, our various homes, if not all over the place. But at least our immediate place of abode, we should be able to see to it that we plant trees and then do take care of them. Then, like I said, we will not leave the situation to leave them to their fate.
Right, so we're joined on the phone line now by the District Chief Executive for the area, Al-Hassan Mohammed Suru Godo, and he's going to be giving us the outcome of that meeting. Good evening to you, Mr. DCE.
Yeah, good evening.
All right, and thank you for joining us. So what's going to be done for the displaced in this rainstorm?
Yeah, let me thank you for the opportunity, and let me once more say good evening to our cherished listeners. As you are already told about, the issue has to do with a severe rainstorm that hit the northern part and northern region in particular, and then Sandargo was not spared. As a result of it, most of our communities were affected. Some buildings got submerged, some had their roof being ripped off. We got the information, and then this morning, the Deputy Regional Minister, Haji A.B. Husseini, who doubles as the Honorable Member of Parliament for the Sandargo constituency, he led the team to assess the situation in the affected communities. And indeed, it was an eyesore. We actually witnessed what happened and then have a better appreciation, on the ground. We quickly came back and then held a disaster committee meeting. Every district has a disaster committee, of which the DCE is the chair. We actually met on it, and then, of course, we will be going back tomorrow to present some relief items to, the affected communities, and for that matter, the affected victims. So that is the situation. But of course, what is there at hand is woefully inadequate. Let me see the opportunity to appeal to other benevolent organizations and individuals, to come to the aid of the people. Otherwise, what we have at our level as a district indeed will not be sufficient to actually meet all the demands of the victims.
Mr. Suru Godo, do you know how many residents have been affected?
Currently, the residents who are, affected is numbering up to 500. 500. We have a lot of communities, that were hit by the rainstorm. So their number currently, the assessment is still ongoing. There's not more time on the ground to not even finish with the assessment. So it's still ongoing, and they will continue tomorrow. So this is an approximate figure I'm giving. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Mohammed Suru Godo. He is the District Chief Executive for Sandarugu. We're taking a break, but we have more stories coming up in the bulletin. Please don't go away. Welcome to Joy News Prime. Now, some drivers and traders in Techimang in the Brong-Ahafo region clashed with the military on Wednesday over the use of the bus terminal there. The drivers had been relocated to a temporary station for the past 15 months to allow for the renovation of the facility. According to them, they were assured by President Mahama during his tour of the region last week that the terminal will be ready within a week. They however say there's been no word from the authorities in the president's visit, and therefore decided to move to the terminal under construction.
There's no problem now. The whole issue is about the fact that they were using the station before they were moved to a temporary place for that old place to be renovated.
That was the Chief Superintendent Chumesi Ankra, who is a Techiman District Police Commander, and he was explaining why they sent their military men to go and evict the aggrieved drivers and traders. Now, joy news has gathered that the two ferries in the Afram Plains have broken down. The two ferries were recently sent there on the orders of the president. The water bus that complements the two ferries also broke down on Tuesday. Reverend Father Stephen Kofi Sakpasu is one of the many travelers affected by the breakdown. He joins us live on the line. Good evening to you, Reverend. What do you know about the breakdown of the ferries and when did it happen? Hello, Reverend Sakpasu.
Good evening, Israel.
All right. So you were telling us.
My name is Sakpaku, not Sakpasu.
All right. So you were telling us about the breakdown of the ferries in the area. How badly has this affected travelers like yourself?
A journey that would have been completed if the ferry were working within 247 kilometers would now be completed within 388 kilometers.
If you can make that into time, how much time will that take?
Approximately, that will be around 9 hours. In that, you have to travel through Agogo, Konongo Mampong, then come to Nkoko before you travel to Accra or any part.
All right, so do we have a lot of travelers like yourself stranded at both ends of the banks of the river?
Come again?
I'm asking if we have several travelers like yourself stranded as a result.
Yeah, basically, that's the means of traveling. And since it's now stopped, passengers are stranded at both sides. If you are coming from Adoso, that's from Nkoko area, you can't cross with your car. If you are coming from Pando area, you can't cross with your car. So, very regular movement is difficult. If you are bold, then you have to go through that long journey that I said, Nkoko, Konongo, Agogo, then entering Afram Plains.
All right. Thank you very much, Reverend Sakpaku, for joining us and bringing us those details. We've also been joined on the line by Station Officer Gideon Brown. Good evening to you, Gideon. What is being done to resolve this problem?
Good evening, Honorable. At the moment, we've requested for one pusher talk from our head office in Akosombo. And the pusher talk has arrived. So by tomorrow morning, the situation will be calm.
Okay, now this track that you're talking about, is it being used to fix or it's going to replace?
Okay, it is going to tow the grounded vessel into the water.
All right. So kindly explain what the problem is. You're talking about grounded vessel. Does it mean it's run aground?
Okay. We encountered a very strong wind yesterday around 4 p.m. And the wind was continuous. It really pushed us. After taking off from Achiamount room with about 14 vehicles on board, the wind pushed us to a very shallow place where the vessel grounded over there. We did all we could to keep the vessel afloat, but to no avail. So we had to call for reinforcements from Akosombo so that they come and tow us into the water. So at the moment, the pusher talk is about to reach Adolfo here. So when it comes, we will just tow the pump into the water.
All right, so that would do for, or that would resolve the problem with this particular ferry. How about the water bus?
Okay, here there is no water bus here. There's only one ferry here.
There's only one ferry for the area?
Yes, please.
All right, thank you very much. Gideon Brown is the station officer at Aceh Amanfro. In other news, an unidentified fraudster is currently at large with 24,000 Ghana cedis after successfully defrauding a businessman, Daniel Odami, with the help of two accomplices. The accomplices, 22-year-old John Ninsing and 23-year-old Razak Mohammed, are currently in custody at the Tema Community 1 police station.
The complainant, Daniel Odami, who usually buys on Tonaton.com, expressed interest in a Toyota Corolla he saw online and contacted John Ninsen, whose number was attached to the advertisement. The first accomplice, Ninsen, made the car available to the buyer, who is the complainant, for test drive at Tema Community 8. Tema Regional Police Public Relations Officer ASP Juliana Obeng, narrating the facts of the case to Joy News, said there was an agreement to pay for the vehicle after the test drive.
Now, the suspect informed the complainant that the owner of the car that he had showed interest in was at Nabita Hospital attending to his sick wife who was on admission there. And so they proceeded to the hospital to go see the car owner. At the hospital, the car owner, supposed car owner who is presently on the run, came out and then collected the said amounts that was involved in selling the used Toyota Corolla that Mr. Odame found on Tonaton, that is 24,000 cedis, and then gave it to the runaway supposed car owner. So then the supposed car owner directed the suspect that they go to Community 7, where documents of the car and then a receipt showing that really Mr. Odame had paid for the car would be given or handed over to him.
But first accomplice Ninsen failed to provide the documents.
At a spot, when they got to Community 7, a motor rider pulled up, and then just around the same time, the suspect said that he wanted to get down from the complainant's car and then bring out the document and then the receipt that he was supposed to collect from him. Just when he got down from the car, he jumped onto the motor bike that was parked, and then immediately the two of them sped off. The complainant, sensing danger, quickly followed the motorbike, and then hit them with his private car. They fell down. Then the suspects were arrested by a mob who had gathered at the time, and then with the help of an assemblyman who lived around the area, they were quickly rushed to Community 8 police station. But then obviously once they were hit down by a car, they sustained some very serious injuries, and so were taken to the Tema General Hospital, where they have been treated.
The two suspects who are currently in custody will be processed for court. ASP Juliana Obeng is therefore cautioning the public against getting into suspicious deals, especially online. Kwame Yanke's report for Joy News.
The Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition is stepping up in its fight against corruption with the introduction of a 10-year plan. The plan outlines roles of all stakeholders, including the public, private, and civil society organizations, in holding government accountable in the fight against corruption. According to the Director of Anti-Corruption at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Charles Ayamdo, a three-pronged approach will be used in the fight against the canker.
At a sensitization workshop organized by the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition on National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, roles were outlined for the public, private and civil societies in a bid to fine-tune the fight against corruption. Speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of the workshop, CEO of Private Enterprise Federation, Nana Osei Bonsu, stated how the private sector will accept roles and responsibilities assigned them in fighting corruption.
What we're putting together is a business integrity code of conduct and governance structure, where businesses are now going to, accept those kind of roles and responsibilities, what we call the four corners of the or the plan will be the climate change impact measures, the governance structure, anti-corruption, and then the civil, corporate social responsibilities. Those 4 tenets are going to be part of going forward activities adopted by various businesses. So at least that if we are able to improve the quality of the governance structure, anti-corruption measures of our employees, that will also seep down to their families. And then together we work with the public sector to address the corruption.
Acting Executive Secretary of the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition, Beauty Nate, explained assigning specific roles to groups will make the media and civic societies effective in championing that cause and better understand their roles in the National Anti-Corruption Plan.
Today, we realize that it is important for the media to understand their role in the NACAP so that they can effectively play that. So we have this opportunity to engage the civil society groups and let them see this is their expected role in the NACAP so that they can effectively play that role. It is also an opportunity for us to give Shiraj, which is the lead in the implementation of the NACAP, to provide an update on what the NACAP has done since it started implementation as at last year. So this platform is going to empower the civil society on their roles as well as update them on what has been done so far.
You're watching Joy News Prime. Still to come in the bulletin, the MPP Ashanti Region Chairman, who was detained overnight and but granted bail today, has accused President Mahama of orchestrating his arrest. He has been addressing supporters after his release from police cells Wednesday afternoon. We have that story coming up for you in the bulletin, but we have business coming up right after the break. Please stay tuned. Right, so time for business now, and well, there's some good news. We're told that production has resumed in the Jubilee Field.
Yes,
that's certainly
exactly.
It's
production has
news.
Finally resumed on the Jubilee Field, but at a marginal level, not optimum level yet.
All right.
Yes.
So, well, it means that gas will soon start. Gas will be flowing to
Atuabo, exactly, and then Ghana Gas will begin to do some work back on stream.
All right.
It is indeed some good news.
Yeah. Okay. You take it away.
All right. So in business, Joy Business has picked up from some credible sources that production of crude oil has finally resumed on the Jubilee Field days after the vessel encountered a problem with the turret system. George Yafe has more.
Joy Business understands that production on the field began yesterday. However, because of the recent challenges with the bearings on the vessel used in collecting, processing and storing crude oil from the Jubilee Field, operators are producing at a very minimal level to ensure that there isn't too much pressure on the FPSO. It is, however, not clear for now whether enough gas is being processed so they can export it to the Atuabo gas infrastructure for power generation. The FPSO was shut down some 3 weeks ago because of a challenge with the bearing on the vessel. The development affected gas supplies, which nearly resulted in some load shedding in the country, increased the cost of producing power for the power generating firms in the country.
Meanwhile, Tullow is projecting the 10 project, which is expected to begin commercial production from July this year, should bring in about 23,000 barrels of crude oil on a daily basis to complement production on the Jubilee Field. Now, still on the Jubilee Field, Tullow Oil says it has no immediate intention of replacing the Jubilee FPSO despite recent breakdowns. Oil production has suffered some setbacks because of challenges with a vessel used in producing and storing crude oil on the field. This has led to calls by some engineers for the vessel to be replaced now to avoid further challenges in the future. The call recently gained some prominence following reports that Jubilee partners are planning to acquire a new FPSO. But speaking to Joy Business, Group Chief Executive of Tullow, Aiden Havey, says there's no such plans on the table in the interim.
It was a good vessel. It's got a problem, but we have the engineers and we have teams who will come up with the solution to fix that. And what we need to make sure is that we fix that in a way that this is as Paul McDade said at the meeting. He said we want to make sure that this vessel is there and producing for the next 20 years. So we will do that. We will fix it. The question is, what is the best way of doing that? And so the team needs time to evaluate all the various proposals. There's 3 options there currently, and we will complete our work on that, and then we'll sit down with the government and go through all the options and pick the best one. But it's more than likely the FPSO will stay in place and will be producing.
Away from the petroleum industry, the Bank of the Year Award is the newest addition to the annual Banking Awards ceremony and will be the most enviable award in the country. The coveted award will go to the most financially sound bank. The 2015 Banking Awards, which comes off on the 27th of August this year at the plush Kempinski Hotel, will recognize banks for their various contributions made to the banking industry. Speaking to Joy Business on the sidelines after the launch of the Banking Awards, Chairman of the Awards Planning Board, Nana Utue Champong, explains what is new about the upcoming ceremony.
2 basic new developments plus an increase in an existing one. Firstly, for the past 15 years, we have recognized the loan factor in the awards. But if banking is deposit and loans, why haven't we done that? But it's better late than never. So for the first time in the 15 years, we are now recognizing the bank with the best savings product so that people can then compare that if I go to Bank A, I'll get the best interest rate. If I go for my deposit, if I go to Bank B, I'll get the best interest rate for my loans that I take. So it will afford customers the best option to make decisions, and that's why we are bringing that in. Initial objective of the forefathers who established the awards was that it should ginger competition. Because the market is very competitive, and in the competitive market, the best survives. And we can put our hands on our chest to say that for the 15 years that we've done this award, it has helped the banks to recognize their competitive edge. It's made them set up some of the practices that they would have done without blinking an eye. Now they think twice before they do that. So the awards have brought very, very positive results to the industry.
The United States is set to enhance its partnership with Ghana by providing access to reliable power and affordable credit. At the Partnership for Growth Steering Committee meeting between the Finance Ministry and the U.S. Embassy in Accra, the U.S. Ambassador to Ghana, Robert Jackson, emphasized his commitment to ensuring that the Millennium Challenge Compact 2, which amounts to nearly $500 million, becomes accessible by June this year. Finance Minister Seth Terkper added that the technical assistance to be provided by the U.S. would be crucial to power and credit availability in the long term.
Investments in power already. Particularly, we had started the negotiations with CDB that led to the Etuabo plant, which is now producing the gas. The second is the credit particularly for SMEs, how that can help. So these are the areas where we have been working. A short while after that, Ghana signed a Compact 2, which we all know, which was signed in the U.S. And the Compact 2 is also exclusively based on power. So it is helping us, particularly on the distribution end. So the goal is any form of assistance which the U.S. can provide for Ghana to meet these, goals. So that's the purpose. And we have a committee, that works. This is a steering committee, and we have 2 subcommittees, credit and power. And so we meet approximately every 6 months, to review progress.
Now, consumer protection stakeholders are still pushing for a national competition policy and authority in Ghana. They believe this will prevent companies from unduly manipulating consumers through the formation of cartels within various sectors of the economy. Joy Business gathers that the government is close to having the policy with a respective authority in place to regulate it. Associate Consultant with Law and Development Associates, Godwin Ja, tells Joy Business it is high time Ghana considered a competition authority to help regulate competition in business.
The implications regarding that. Look, if I am to take custody, of let's say a tanker full of fuel, right? Now, maybe it leaves the oil refinery and it comes to your premise. Maybe you are running a filling station. Now, this aspect,
We sincerely apologize for that wrong footage. We'll play you that story in a subsequent bulletin. Now it's time to go to the stock market, and John is already here to tell us what's more or what's new on the Ghana Stock Exchange. Good evening, John.
Good evening, Emmanuel.
Okay, so what's going on the stock exchange?
The stock market today, as yesterday, it's not really made any improvement. Actually, it recorded some lower performance actually as against yesterday. Today, the market is still struggling to recover itself. It is still trying as much as possible to gain momentum, but it's still not doing that. As we had a total of about 66,100, that's against 74,086 yesterday. That's how Kamal said. It actually recorded some lower volumes, but in terms of value, still lower than yesterday, as a total value of 144,067 was also recorded today. But still, you can see now gradually the market is eroding in terms of its value over the period. It's losing as much as possible at the fastest rate, this particular year. Now, we have almost around 7.50 as the total market capital, the CAI, the composite index, and also the financial index also coming to the region of 11.42. Gradually, those who have invested in the financial market losing value on the market. So if you were the one, I'm sure you would have actually sold your shares and probably invest in a better investment somewhere. That's exactly what a lot of investors are actually doing.
Maybe get some treasury bills.
Exactly. You can't stay in a market where you keep losing value over the period. Yeah. So these were those that actually gained today. EGL actually gained 1 Peswa. For a long time, EGL has never actually come to the party, but today it did come and actually returned 1 Peswa to investors' capital. GCB lost 2. PZ Cousins lost 1, and of course Unilever also did lose 1 today on the market. So you see most of the equities losing instead of actually gaining. But then of course we hope better times will come. But until the structure of the economy changes, until interest rates start actually turning the other direction, until the currency starts stabilizing, some of these things will keep actually going on. And then the currency today also still not really doing that well. As a loss to the the US dollar, gained against the British pound, lost to the euro, and of course gained against the Chinese yuan. So 3 out of 5 losses. That's exactly what is exactly happening.
What are the commodities? Oil.
Oil, we go there after this one. So basically for $1 US, now you need more Ghana cedis to get $1 US, as in 3 Ghana cedis, 79 pesos for $1 US. And of course, for 1 British pound, 5 Ghana cedis, 48. And if you need 152 CFA francs to get 1 Ghana cedis. So that's basically, now so back to commodities. Okay. Commodities also recording some interesting development in there as crude is losing, cocoa losing, gold losing. That particular stretch started yesterday.
Yesterday we were in the $45 region.
Now today you can see it's $44.76 per barrel. Gold lost $6.66 as cocoa also lost $30 today to be trading around $44.76, and the gold is trading around 1,280 as cocoa 3,175. That's quite significant. In a matter of 3 days, crude has lost almost about $3. That's quite significant. So we should also be looking at that. Whilst we're expecting that it moves up, now it's rather coming down. These were some of the dynamics on the market that we always say. Yeah.
Thank you very much, John, for
you're welcome.
Ending the business for tonight. Join the business desk for more updates on the stock market every evening on the news. My name is Emmanuel Boajiwiafi. Keep watching.
You're welcome back to Joy News Prime. The political science lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has cautioned the New Patriotic Party is fast losing the trust and confidence amongst the population, with implications for its chances at victory in the elections this November. Mohamed Abbas says the loss of confidence is largely due to the party's apparent inability to effectively handle its internal rifts. Its comments come on the back of the detention of the party's Ashanti region chairman for allegedly assaulting his fellow party man, the MP for Menchia North constituency, Collins Usomankwa. Mahmoud Muhammad Nuruddin has more.
As early as 6 a.m. Wednesday, some party supporters gathered at the regional police station to sympathize with the regional chairman, Bernard Inchibwe-Seyaku, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi.
It was a deliberate attempt to frustrate our chairman. We live in a democratic society. Due process must be followed. They are just trying to intimidate us, and we will not allow it.
I don't feel fine because he's my chairman and he has been arrested. So I don't feel fine.
Security personnel were up to task, and journalists were standing by to report every scene.
This is not a game of play. It is a confusion that ensured, and it is within the party remit to be able to resolve it. But unfortunately, we landed at the place. But I can tell you the party has the machinery and the strategy to resolve it.
That was the moment supporters of the party waited for. The regional chairman was instantly processed before the Asokwa Magistrate Court, where he was granted bail in a sum of 20,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties.
To the court that they wish that the matter be settled out of court, and all those things went into the court granting or admitting Chairman Wontumi to bail. Coming here on the 1st of June. Yeah, that's the next date. I'm not just satisfied, I'm a very happy person.
And the reason?
There is for bail, and our bail application has been granted. It found favor with the court.
Though different views suggested the police should have granted bail on Tuesday, private legal practitioner John Akparibo disagrees.
The law has placed a time limit on which the police that can detain you. Any detention beyond that is unlawful. If they want to detain you beyond that, then they have to send you to court to explain to the court why they want to continue to detain you. If they have not sent you to court and they continue to keep you in custody, is unlawful.
The NPP believes it is still strong and resolute to battle the November general election.
Why? Because people are happy. They are very joyous, like joy.
What happened within your party?
What has happened within our party?
Your original chairman was detained. I mean,
yes, police arrested him, and the police have given him bail on some charge. So it's been adjourned. 1st June. He will come and meet his accuser.
This should have been settled within the party.
It's not a question of settled within the party. He was at home. He was invited by the police. He had no choice. They arrested him, detained him, and brought him to court. He had no opportunity to even settle any matter.
But some are saying what he did was not right.
What did he do?
He attacked your MP.
It was alleged that he attacked someone. That's all. The circumstance, the whole story surrounding it, we don't know. I won't jump into any conclusion about it.
Wouldn't it affect your party?
How will it affect it? On the contrary, people are resolved. They are determined. You can see the evidence. They are determined to remain focused, campaign, register, vote, change.
The way forward for the party?
The way forward is change. For our party, we are pushing it. Change is the battle is the Lord's.
But political scientists has warned the wrangling has a potential of affecting the party in its effort to garner more votes.
But the implication is that, one, the party is still struggling internally, to hold itself, which is a prerequisite for fighting outside to eventually win the election. And then secondly is lack of trust. People are losing trust and confidence within the party, because if you listen to a lot of callers, they are still talking about the NPP inability to still hold itself. So that is the second implication. And then thirdly, people are being alienated.
Right, we're joined on the phone line now by Erastus Asare Donkor from Kumasi in the Ashanti region. He's been following the story the whole day. Good evening to you, Erastus.
Good evening, Israel.
Right, so the very latest we're hearing is that Chairman Wontumi has been making some allegations. What exactly has he been saying?
Well, he's blaming the president and the NDC government for his arrest, and he claims that his arrest is an intimidation sort of to try to put fear in the NPP, and he's given a warning to the NDC government that what happened yesterday and the massive support he received after his release from cell is an indication that the NPP will rise, Wontumi will rise, the Ashanti Regional NPP will also rise, and that there is victory ahead in 2016 for him. So he's serving a warning to the president and his brother Ibrahim Mahama that there is more victory ahead. That's what he's been saying. Again, on local radio stations, he's been alleging that he thinks that the Regional Police Commander, DCOP Kofi Boakye, is in bed with the NDC, is an NDC operative who is doing the bidding of the NDC government, because he had, according to him, he had bail, and then shortly after he stepped out of the police station, they said order from above indicates that he should be rearrested, and then he went back in. And so that indicates that Kofi Boakye is indeed working for the NDC government. That's basically what he's been telling supporters in Kumasi.
All right, Erastus, has he said anything about the allegations leveled against him that he actually assaulted a member of parliament from the NPP?
So far, he's been diverting attention from what he actually is alleged to have done at the polling station, which indeed many people are pointing fingers at, that he allegedly slapped the MP and even assaulted the constituency secretary and even tried to step on him and had to be restrained by police officers. This has been corroborated on local radio stations elsewhere, but the whole party and himself is trying to divert attention from that and focusing on the fact that what has happened is an engineering of the NDC government and is purely political.
All right, thank you very much, Erastus Asare Donkor, bringing us up to speed with that story there in the Ashanti region, or Kumasi to be precise. You're still watching Joy News. Prime still to come in the bulletin. President Mahama has started the Central Region leg of his Accounting to the People tour. And a chicken thigh at lunch for pupils. That's the promise from the PNC candidate, Dr. Edward Mahama. He says he's going to do that when he's elected. If he's elected president in the November elections, you'd have to stay tuned for that. But up next, we bring you international news. You're also watching Joy News Prime Time now for a recap of our top stories. A rainstorm at Sanawugu in the northern region have left residents in 16 communities displaced. The Births and Deaths Registry has documented 6,000 births in 1 month under the new automated registration process, which makes certificates available to newborns in less than 3 minutes. In business, Tallow Oil production has resumed in the Jubilee field after a disruption lasting several weeks. And then ferries deployed at Afram Plains recently on the orders of President Mahama have broken down, severely disrupting transportation across the Volta Lake in the area. Now, President Mahama is on the Accounting to the People tour of the Central Region. He has been commissioning and inspecting some projects, including the Commander Sugar Factory, Cape Coast Sports Stadium, Kotukraba Market, as well as some road projects. Correspondent Richard Kojo Nyako joins me from the Central Region with more. Good evening to you, Richard. What else has the President been doing?
Well, the President started off by paying a courtesy call on the Omahini of Oba traditional area. Nana Kwesiata, the second, and the chiefs planned that they will confer some fanship on him, because when the late president died, he came there and said that they should take him as their own. So they wanted to take some rituals, but for want of time, they would have done that one, but the intention was there. After that one, the president went to the Kotukraba Market to inspect the ongoing project there. And according to the engineers that were on site, the Kotukraba Market will be completed in about 3 months' time. From there, they moved to the Commander Sugar Factory, and then the inspection also proved that in about work done there was about 90%. They came to the Elmina Bridge, where he also inspected the bridge that has been broken down. So tourists and other people who would want to go to the other side of the town are unable to access that bridge because the bridge has broken down. So that had also reached 90%. They also inspected some roads within the Cape Coast metropolis that, according to the president, they are asphalting all the radio roads within the Cape Coast township. And so they had already started that one from the University of Cape Coast East Gate Station to the St. Augustine through to Bacano. And the president has ended the tour this evening. And so that is what basically the president has been doing today.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojo Nyako, bringing us up to speed on the President's Accounting to the People tour in the Central Region. Now, moving on to other stories now. School children are expected to, or can expect, to expect one free chicken thigh for lunch if PNC presidential candidate Dr. Edward Mahama wins the November 2016 elections. He explained on the polls earlier, the move is to radically boost local production of maize and poultry, which are industries dominated by imports. After 4 attempts, Edward Mahama believes he will be 5th time lucky in his latest bid to become president. He has contested the presidency more than any other Ghanaian in history. But in an interview with Francis Aban, the US-trained medical doctor explained poor media coverage hampered his efforts to gain national acceptance in his previous attempt.
I'm preaching what will bring me to the presidency. This mental, attitudinal change that Ghanaians have to pick up. The can-do spirit. You know, I have also said that Ghanaians should see that I'm making a covenant with them, with God as my witness, that the things I say will happen. For example, new beginnings. You write a letter to the ministry, you never get a reply. You write a letter to any government institution, you have to go there to follow up. A contractor finishes his work, he presents his certificates, he has to follow up. All those things will be changed.
Okay.
Yes, to make Ghana efficient.
Okay.
You know?
The only thing I hear, which is new here, is this. You made a covenant with us 4 times. This is your 5th time of making a new one with us. The difference here is that you want a bit more media coverage and your message will go
Not
out
that I want, I'm getting.
You are getting.
Yes.
So you're saying that media coverage will be that trump card in winning this election?
No. The new force.
Which is what?
18 to 35-year-olds. These are the targets that the people I have targeted. That's why I've gone with IT, because that is what they know. And so basically, I'm reaching them. In fact, if you go on my website, you'll see. I'm reaching them, you know. And also the message. When I say, for example, that I will lead Ghanaian farmers to have the import bill for rice, I'm talking about something I did. I did rice farming to give myself a scholarship to go to America. I didn't go on government scholarship or mission scholarship. I did rice farming. And I'm saying that I can lead Ghana to produce rice and have the import bill. That means that $400 million will be in the Ghanaian farmers' pocket, rice farmers' pocket. This is a message that every farmer, rice farmer, has said, I have told poultry farmers that we are going to feed a chicken leg or thigh or drumstick, as they call it in America, to our children in schools. And we're going to grow the maize in our farm plains and turn the maize into chicken feed in Brong Ahafo and feed that chicken feed to chicken and feed the chicken to our children. I've been talking about these things. People have heard me. Let me tell you something. The other day I was doing an interview with the radio station in the United States. And the Ghanaian living there said, Dr. Mahama, in 1996, when you first ran, you said you will adjust the minimum wage to be the equivalent of $5 a day. Do you still stand by it? 1996, 20 years ago, he heard me. So if people have heard me over these years and have seen the consistency of the message, have seen the determination of Edward Mahama, have seen what I have done in my small clinic, taking it into the 21st century, any Ghanaian who wants to move forward will be voting for Edward Mahama.
Okay,
my message is powerful.
Member of Parliament for Isujaman Kofi Osei-Amea has taken a swipe at the Electoral Commission for failing to provide the needed logistics to help cleanse the current voters register. Joy News has intercepted a letter from the Electoral Commission signed by Deputy Chairperson Georgina Opoku Amankwa, directing Assembly and Unit Committee members in the various districts to delete names of deceased persons from the electoral roll. Speaking to Joy News, Ms. Amea said the failure of the EC to furnish assigned members with the needed logistics will stall the process. The lawmaker is also asking the Electoral Commission to extend the period allocated for the said exercise. He spoke to Derek Ekosam.
Now, CI 91, as I understand it, makes it quite clear that the Assembly members and Unit Committee members, and it's confirmed by the EC, are the ones who must have a register, a contemporaneous register, to determine death as well as birth, as well as residency or ordinary resident in the area. If their work is done properly with the correct resources, then most of the hula baloo and the noise and the fights that are going on during this registration will be minimized, because if there is any challenge or objection, all you need to do is to go to the electoral area register or the unit committee register to ascertain the veracity of the claim that one is making as entitlement to go on the register of that electoral area. And now, as I understand it, CI 91 makes it quite mandatory for us to have electoral area registers. So every register would be for an electoral area, and once you put it together, you have the national register.
What would you do in this case as a member of parliament? Are you also asking for more time for the unit committee members to do this work?
Of course, of course, of course. And you as a media man should also be pushing so that they can do the job. What is the hurry in this? If the people are, now we are talking about over 600,000, electoral area by electoral area. So let them who live within the electoral areas and the unit areas come out and tell us and give them ample time to do their work.
Civil society organizations in the country have tasked the police to prosecute politicians who foment trouble in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise without fear or favor. As you may be aware, pockets of violence have characterized the registration exercise, mainly in the Ashanti and Brong Ahafo regions. Chairman of the Civic Forum Initiative, Major General Nika Coleman, who spoke to Joy News Aqua after an interaction with the police, said cracking the whip is the only way to curb the impunity of the politicians' abuse of the laws of the land.
Accusations and counter-accusations with potentially negative implications have taken center stage in the ongoing limited registration exercise as the New Patriotic Party, NPP, and the National Democratic Congress, NDC, engage in blame games over the irregularities and pockets of violence that have characterized the exercise. While the NPP is accusing the NDC of registering minors, busing people to areas they don't live in, and using macho men to intimidate and scare NPP agents, the NDC has dismissed the allegations and insisted that it will remain resolute in checking the NPP from registering minors. The two parties have also called on the police to remain neutral in the ongoing exercise. The chairman of the Civic Forum Initiative, Major General Coleman, expressed disquiet about the spate of violence in the ongoing exercise. In his view, any compromise of the neutrality of the Ghana Police Service would undermine the whole electoral process.
Crime is a crime, whether it is political or otherwise. If anybody has committed what in their view is a crime or gone against the laws of the country, such individuals must be picked up and dealt with as individuals. Forget about the political parties. If the political parties want to put pressure on them. Look, the police have the power, so much power that they have not been able to exercise this. And I keep on wondering why. If somebody has committed, and it doesn't matter who that person is, you book that person and send him before the law courts and let the judiciary deal with that person. That is the only way by which we can sanitize our system. But if we are always looking over our shoulder, this person is a big man and maybe the next day he's going to be in government and he will deal with me. You have the power now. Deal with that person.
Up next, we bring you entertainment. Miss G is here. It's time for entertainment. Good evening,
Hello, Israel. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, the last time I didn't get the color of this tie. What did we finally say it was?
I think they said it was turquoise something. Or
Was it?
Yeah.
It doesn't still look like turquoise to me anyway. All right, so I'm sure you see a lot of music videos and you're like, hey, what is this? Are my kids watching? Who else is watching? Am I supposed to be watching this at this time?
Oh, you mean those videos that show women?
Okay, thank God that you know that it's just the women they show. Anyway, so we'll be talking to musicians, video directors, and also the dancers we see in such music videos on why
they would go that far, exposing themselves. And
I think society has become so dynamic that the new right is the wrong, which is not to be accepted, but unfortunately, people are using so many dubious means to create attention and money for themselves. Beyonce releases whatever and all of those things, and she shows every part of her body and all of that. And Adele releases Hello covered fully. All you see is her eyes and her face, and she sells more than Beyonce.
To do from an artistic point of view is pick what attract people from a pop culture point of view and put it in our video. I mean, in certain cases, you can make a lady twerk on screen and it won't look too alarming. But then if you look around, what happens in our parties, etc., that is what the ladies are doing. So whoever directed that video, I'm sure will just be reflecting what it is normally that he sees around. So that's what he's reflecting on.
Right, indeed, some of the videos can be quite raunchy and provocative.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever considered doing one of those?
Really? What role would I play?
I'm asking if you've ever considered.
No, but what would I be doing in the video?
Well, you know how to dance quite well, apparently.
Okay, but I'll be in an overall, then I'll do that.
No, people are not going to appreciate it that much.
They won't?
No.
Okay, so people like who and who?
Well,
like yourself?
The directors.
No, they are not complaining.
You heard Nancy Hini saying that you know, they're just reflecting
what people want to see.
Yeah.
So people like you want to see.
Yeah.
But in all of this, I'm sure a lot of people...
But you won't do bad at all. I mean, if you were doing one of those.
Okay, I'll start from here. So let's start shooting the music video here.
Can we have Miss G, you know, get down in one of those ones too?
Okay.
I'm asking the director.
The director would have to tell us. Anyway, so but everybody's wondering, all of these, who are the regulators? The National Media Commission is supposed to ensure what goes on the screen is, you know, good enough, decent enough for everybody. And so I took it upon myself to go see the secretary for the National Media Commission to find out what are the standards, who ensures that we adhere by the standards. And here's what George Sapon tells me.
Is that any kind of exposure that has no serious literary, artistic, cultural standards, but is used only to excite prurient minds, only for the erotic interest and nature would constitute objectionable content.
Again, you've set the standards, but how much of the standards are we adhering to?
These are complex matters. You do not want to completely outlaw creativity. So you want to be extremely careful in what you allow and what you choose not to allow. The attitude of the Commission is that we will encourage creativity to the greatest degree possible.
Who does the NMC work with to ensure that before these music videos even go on the television screens, before they are put on social media, all these details are checked?
The producers, the managers, the owners of the stations have a primary duty.
Social media, nobody regulates
Yes.
what goes on social media.
So that is the next complicated issue that we have to address. There is a lot of it that is addressed in the new law, but take note, the social media runs on networks, okay, essentially. So the network operator has a responsibility if content is particularly objectionable to take it down. The general idea that material of adult content should be broadcast beyond the watershed is the responsibility of the National Media Commission. But particularly for films, there are other agencies that work on film classification. So if you are talking about, labeling, like the classification 16, 18, or whatever, that essentially is not the National Media Commission.
Do you work hand in hand with the classification board?
I think that it would be useful to do that. So far, we have not done that. We still believe that at some point into the future, we may have to have a lot of collaboration.
Right, and Ms. I must say that some of the pictures the visuals you used for your interview were quite illustrative of the nudity you were talking about.
Exactly.
You more than made your point.
I needed to because
you can actually say exaggeration for emphasis.
Really, but there are things that we see every.
More than made your point.
And you love what you were seeing because it was telling the story, right? Yes.
I loved what I was seeing.
Because it was telling the story.
Okay.
For the purpose of the story.
Let's move on.
But yes, for the purpose of the story. Just say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on, and we're going to do something about Nigerians. On Monday is what we classify as Man Crush Monday.
Yeah.
Wednesday is Women Crush Wednesday. Now, guess who Genevieve Nnaji and Toke Makinwa have been crashing on? Guess Genevieve's first. Who do you think she'll crash on?
Maybe Denzel Washington.
Oh, you wish. Yeah, you wish. Yes, you wish. She didn't crash on Denzel. She crashed on The Rock. Oh, you, yeah. In your dreams she did. Anyway, so Toke also crashed on Idris Elba, and they've been talking all about them on social media. And Toke goes on to say, if you get the opportunity to write a letter to Idris Elba, what will it be if it's on social media?
Yeah.
And she says that she will say she's totally speechless. And now Genevieve comes to wish The Rock happy birthday and say some nice things about him. And then few hours later, she deleted it. I don't know. Maybe her boyfriend called her and said, "Hey, you better be careful."
Be careful.
Because you're crashing on him. How can you be crashing on somebody else? Not Idris.
Elba is Idris.
No, not Idris. She's crashing on ex-wrestler, now turned actor. And so the boyfriend is like, "Hey, is it because I don't have that kind of body? Charlie, you have to stay put, be on guard." But the interesting twist to T-Bills and Tiwa's story is that
they're still in the news.
Yes, T-Bills decided to go test for drugs. He's been accused of sniffing cocaine, and he tested negative.
Well, he's been using it for some time.
Well, he said for 2 years now he's been off drugs, and these people have been married 2 years now. So when did he use it? What was Tiwa talking about? Was it before they got married? Was it after they got married? Because they've been married for 2 years. The anniversary was just last week.
Well, if you used it, I'm not sure if you stopped using it in the last few weeks, it's going to be evident in your bloodstream.
No. Oh, okay. So he said he's been away. He's never tasted drugs in the last 2 years, not just cocaine, but any other hard drug. He stayed away from hard drugs. So at least we can spare him that one. He, however, hasn't spoken about edible catering, which I'm more concerned about. Because I need to be served. I need to be served at 2 a.m. You know,
edible catering.
Serious one. No, I can't imagine sleeping and waiting for edible catering to come serve me.
But it just speaks of, it speaks to how, some men, save the contacts of their, girlfriends on their phones.
That's true.
So somebody calls it edible catering. I'm sure somebody will call it. Apparently people name them like Obama and.
Oh really? They have them in grades. You must know, ma. I have to see you for more.
How do you say the contacts on your phone?
Which contacts? Your name is Israelai, and that's what's on my phone.
Yeah, well, not me. It's somebody else.
Somebody said, pizza man. No, you're not the pizza man. Anyway, before I go, let me tell you now, the baby for the man, what's his name again? Remind me, who do you know I'm talking about? He has his 9th baby today.
9th baby?
Yes.
It's not Two-Face.
Oh no, Two-Face has just 7.
And I don't know.
You don't know who has a 9th baby?
No.
You don't know? Eddie Murphy's 9th baby is arrived yesterday, and he has a 9th child with the 5th
woman.
Congratulations to Eddie Murphy.
Well, Idris Elba, the Two-Face today, I will catch up with him.
Well, maybe that's the African version of Eddie Murphy. But thanks for having me.
Right.
Israel, there's more entertainment coming your way tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Ms. G, for
I'll bring you edible entertainment.
Edible entertainment. Okay, thank you. Up next, we have Gary with sports. All right, time for sports, and Gary is here. Good evening to you, Gary.
Good evening, Israel.
What's coming up?
Well, apart from chickens.
Kids being served chicken for lunch.
Yeah, by Edward Muhammad. I mean, that's a good thing. The interesting thing about Doctor is that from my childhood, I mean, I'm talking about, 96, since he's been around, I've always seen him as an interesting man, full stop. Like, even to my mind as a child, I never saw him as a
politician,
a serious contender for Phil. Yeah, it was nice. Somebody in my exams, who is the candidate for CPP, the PNC, then I shade, that kind of thing. But I met him today, and he was a very nice man.
Yeah.
He had nice things to say.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy. All right. So take over the sports.
Well, speaking of nice guys, Real Madrid are definitely not, especially if you're a Manchester City fan. Champions League second leg action happening right now at the Santiago Bernabeu. Real Madrid taking a 1-0 lead courtesy of Gareth Bale. Cristiano Ronaldo on the field, but not very fully fit. Yaya Toure also on the field. Yesterday at the new and commissioned Cape Coast Stadium that was done by President John Dramani Mahama, we had, a 16,000 filled capacity crowd watching the proceedings. There was some music by Becca, Guru, and a lot of others. President Mahama gave his speech. Also, the same thing was done by Nilanti van der Poel, the sports minister. But the main attraction for the day, apart from the spectacular fireworks afterwards, was a friendly between China and Ghana's under-20s. And after the game, Evans Mensah, who plays for Inter Allies in the Ghana Premier League, but was part of the team, said it was a good exercise.
We play matches, you can see that we are ready, and then what I just need to say is this is a good experience for us, because day in and day out, the more that we play matches, the more that we get the confidence back. So this game, we are trying to, put much effort, and they see our mistake that we did, and then we correct it as soon as possible before the day gets to there, before we go to Ethiopia. So we have more confidence that if we go there, we'll win the match. And then one thing I would say is, whilst we are going there, we need to be more tactical discipline, because without that, we can't win the match. So that's it.
Evans Mensah plays for Inter Allies, but you also remember that recently in the Black Stars game, the most recent Black Stars game, he got a very late call-up by Avram Grant. But speaking of the Black Satellites, the game against China that was played, they won. And coach of the team is Masoud Didi Dramani, the former Kotoko boss. He has hinted that there will be more trial games after yesterday's game with the team from the Far East.
Many of them are in the Premiership, and for them not to get exhausted,
to be able to, be okay for their league games at the weekend. We still will play a series of, mixed games in terms of low to medium, and then maybe when we have a high-profile game like this, it will be good.
And the Satellites are looking to bring more glory to Ghana to follow in the footsteps of the famous 2019. Now, going to European football, and UEFA have a new baby. The name is Kosovo. The country has been accepted as the 55th member of the European football governing body. We come right down to England and to the city of Leicester. Yes, I know we've been going on and on about it, but historic events need historic coverage, and the city of Leicester is preparing to mark this weekend's historic event when the team play their first game after clinching the Premier League title. Don't forget that they were able to do so without kicking a ball after Spurs were only able to draw Chelsea on Monday. Time if Real Madrid are able to win the Champions League in the final, but they are just seconds away. This is what it's looking like at the moment. 90 minutes have gone, 4 minutes being played. It's going to be done in 3, 2, 1. Ronaldo gets it, and you can see that they are counting the clock down. So it should be done now, and it's certainly going to finish like this. We are going to have an all-Madrid final, Atletico versus Real, and it's going to be in Milan on May the 28th. Mouth-watering prospect. What's mouth-watering is that you can get the match report of this on myjoyonline.com. Also, at Joy Sports GH on Twitter and on Facebook, Joy Sports. My name is Gary Al Smith. That's the sport for now. Izzy is here to finish up with the news.